you just lower your gaze, it will make you have less urges, and it will make sure that you actually go on a decent NoFap streak. Lower your gaze.
That's bullshit. Actually, you do want to see naked girls.
As I'm editing videos, that's all I'm thinking about.
That's part of your problem.
Today we're going to be looking at a YouTuber who has 999,000 subscribers, and he has been talking about NoFap for many years. I listened to a lot of his advice when I was stuck in the porn addiction, and I'm really, really excited to share this with Mary because watching him back, I'm just astonished by how crazy the advice actually is, and I can see so clearly why I stayed stuck listening to guys like this. So let's get straight into the first video.
Lower your gaze. 3 words. If you were to follow this, the chances of you ever watching P ever again would drop to almost 0.
What this guy is talking about is he's decided for himself like what he's going to do when he's out about in public to really deal with the porn addiction at what he calls the root cause, which is that moment when you see someone attractive out in public. And he shares this story in this video where he goes into a restaurant, some woman opens a door for him and is looking at him, and he just drops his head. He's just like, right, I'm going to lower my gaze and not even look at this woman because she was in quite tight clothing or whatever. And then later on, we'll share some more stories that he shares in this YouTube video. But let's talk through why this isn't going to work. Why lowering your gaze isn't some simple solution to porn addiction.
Well, for starters, this whole thing, the P word, it's what is, I see that online, the P word, dude, it's porn, why can't we say the word, it's the P word. But, I remember when I met you, and I mean, even if some of your remember letters, your costs and everything were, you told me that you would be so feeling like everybody knew, out in public, you just felt so awkward that you walking down the street that you'd run into people. Remember when you told me that? So it's
Yeah.
if you're gonna be lowering your gaze walking around out in the world, that seems kind of dangerous. You're gonna be running into people and people are gonna be like, what's wrong with that person? And you think too, I mean, we have a serious addiction problem here, homeless and, / addiction problem here. I know it's pretty much worldwide or whatever, but a lot of those people, they walk down the street like this, they've got their heads down, and it's, and what's the point of that? Does the guy explain, what's the point of the lower your gaze?
Yeah, maybe let's go on to the next clip.
So I swear to God, I grab the food, I look up, I assess the whole situation that's going on here. I look down, I nod at her as a sign of respect for opening up the door, and I walk right past the door, making no eye contact with her after the initial glance to see what was happening. That's what I mean by lowering your gaze.
What?
I can see why you're embarrassed. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Tom. I have a ton of respect for you, you know that, but I can see why you're embarrassed, watching this guy. But yeah, lower you. So don't make eye contact. I think it's based in helplessness, right? If I look at her, then what? I'm going to want to look at her longer, or junkie thinking I will look at her longer rather than I may want to, right? Which you have control over that wanting, right? At this stage of the game. But yeah, I think that's the idea, right? It's if you look at her now somehow I don't know. Maybe you can explain it to me what he's trying to say, because I'm grabbing at straws here.
Yeah, if we go on to the next clip, he actually gets onto his logic behind this a little bit.
Okay, let's go.
I'm explaining to you in a different way. Right now, how many of you would crave chocolate cake if you've never seen chocolate cake in your life before? 0% of you, right? Just a logical argument I'm trying to bring up here.
So what? So if you've never seen porn, you wouldn't crave it. Well, that might be true, but what does that have to do with lowering your gaze and not ever making eye contact with someone who opens the door, if it's a woman or whatever? What does that have to do with anything? I missed the logic. Help me out here, Tom.
Yeah. So I think what's happened, right, is like many of us, this guy got addicted to porn probably from a young age, right? And I know from his videos that he's gone on some very, very long NoFap streaks. I think he's quite a big advocate for the sort of NoFap life, right? And I think what's happened is due to, the porn addiction, what happens is when you look at that content a lot for many years, you end up objectifying women out in public. I think that's so common for guys, is we end up objectifying women out in public, right? And they become like hypersexualized. And so he's probably struggling with that side of the addiction still, whether he is choosing to engage or not, because those neural pathways are now in place from the porn use. So now he's going out in public, he's objectifying these women, and he's getting really triggered, and he's having these really strong compulsive desires. And if we actually go on to the "It's All I'm Thinking About" clip, you'll kind of see how this is playing out, because he talks about his problem with like being out in public, looking at these women who are in maybe tight clothing or not wearing much, and how it was impacting him.
And I'd wake up in the morning, 8 a.m., go to the gym, me and my boy. I'd come back. I'm like, bro, what the hell was that? I'm having these thoughts in my head all day. I go use the bathroom. It's all I'm thinking about. I'm sitting down after work. It's all I'm thinking about. As I'm editing videos, it's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah. It's all you're thinking about. It's called compulsive desire. It's called obsessive addictive thoughts. Yeah. And then it sounds like he's trying to keep moving. I'm at the gym, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but it's still the thoughts refuse to be ignored. So, again, trying to avoid it by not looking at her, but it sounds like he's having the thoughts all day anyway, when he's doing his work, when he's going to the bathroom, when he's at the gym, he's having the thoughts anyway, not just when he looks at a girl in public.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what he did is he actually stopped going to the gym. If we just play the quit gym clip, you'll see what I mean.
I personally quit my gym membership. And the reason that I did that was because I don't want to see half naked women anymore. I don't want to see naked girls, straight up.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you do want to see naked girls. That's part of your problem, But quitting the gym membership, that again, that's based in helplessness. And now this thing that can benefit your life, going to the gym and working out, it's really good for you and whatever. Now you're not going to do that because you're helpless, because there's women there that, what the hell do you want them to do? Wear like parkas and big baggy, snowmobile suits or something at the gym? What? They're going to wear things that are comfortable, that you're going to work out, and they're going to wear workout clothes. They're not like, I don't know. Yeah. See, all working around it, all dancing around the problem rather than addressing those addictive neural pathways. And yeah, maybe you get triggered at the gym where the girls are wearing the spandex or whatever, and then you have an opportunity to change that. So you can go to the gym and not feel helpless because the girls are wearing workout clothes. I mean, what a way to live, really, right?
Exactly. Yeah, let's go into the final clip then.
Yeah.
If you just lower your gaze, it will make you have less urges, and it will make sure that you actually go on a decent NoFap streak. And if you follow it properly, it will, for the most part, really end your addiction.
That is just such bullshit. The streaks to begin with, counting days, all of that stuff. So, well, it's so simple, isn't it? We should just tell the guys in group today, just forget everything we've taught you. Just lower your gaze. And that's going to guarantee that you're going to get out of your addiction. Don't do all the work you've been doing. Just lower your gaze. But, watch out, because you're probably going to be like, I don't know, running into people. It's just such trivializing, absolute nonsense, 100% nonsense. So yeah, that's my take.
It is crazy. I think the key thing that stands out for me is, as you said earlier, it's the helplessness. And since we've been, working together, that's just been such a key takeaway. It's just understanding like helpless language and realizing that actually we don't need to be like slaves to our own desires. We don't need to have all these restrictions, conditions in our life. And really, surely the goal for all of us should be to get to a position where we can just live our life, like just be truly free from this problem. And he actually talks about that in his own video, in this video, actually. We don't have a clip of it, but he was talking about, like, you know, just really wanting that peace of mind, and he's willing to kind of do anything to get that peace of mind. But to me, being in a position where you're walking through the world, lowering your gaze, not being able to have your head up high and just relax and be around women, and maybe go to the gym with your girlfriend if you want to go to the gym with your girlfriend, which is what I do now and then. It's like, that's not a way to live. And just imagine, like, getting married and then your girlfriend invites you to maybe like a music festival with some friends where, I mean, here in the UK, it's kind of crazy what the women wear. And I'm not saying that's right or good or healthy, but I'd want to be able to be like, yeah, sure, I'll come along to the festival. Or like, do you want to join some workout? Do you want to go do some yoga? Whatever it is, it's like, you want to be able to be in those situations. You know, I think I talked about it with you a few weeks ago. I go into the sauna and some of the women there, they're wearing like a thong kind of bikini or whatever, but I'm not going to be like, all right, now I'm going to stop going to the sauna, because then it's kind of like you're letting the addiction win. It's like you're letting the addictive part of the mind win if you take that route. Instead, we want to be able to just think through the desire in a rational way, make a choice in that moment, and actually change these neural pathways. And I love what he said about it being an opportunity as well, because there's been so many times where I've had compulsive desires myself at the gym, so I kind of get what he's saying. And you know, his approach is like, okay, well, I'm going to go build like a home gym or go to a different gym with just guys, or like the boxing club, right? Which I wouldn't do. I think that's crazy. But instead, like, if you have a compulsive desire at the gym, all right, well, maybe take a few minutes out in the changing rooms, think through that desire. You know, in my case, it'd be using the script to think through that choice, and then go back to the gym and just carry on the workout. And like, the compulsive desire refuses to be ignored. But once it's dealt with, it's dealt with. You're not going to have the desire in the gym once you've actually really thought through that choice and you've logically gone, okay, well, I do want to, you know, engage in this compulsive behavior. I do want to check out this girl. But then you think it through and you experience that temporary discomfort and rewire that neural pathway. And you're right, you know, he's not getting connected to the wanting by distracting himself from it and like removing the triggers. So therefore, he's going to be stuck with this problem in his mind, because it is a mental problem, for decades to come, unless he really changes his approach to this issue.
On and off streaks, on and off streaks, on and off streaks. And, you know, it's all the same idea, is, you know, trying to find a way around it, around the compulsive desire, rather than going through it. But, you know, to give credit to people, it's like, if you don't have a powerful tool, of course, you're going to try to get away from it, right? You know, but the only way is through it. And that's what our tool provides. But, you know, this idea of having your head hanging low too, or lowering your gaze, I don't think there's one guy that we've worked with who doesn't have on their cost list lack of confidence. That's like, and what they want to gain is confidence, right? So like you just were saying about walking around the world with your head held high. And, you know, so some women want to dress scantily, whatever, you maybe glance, whatever. And it's not a threat to you, you know, it's just another thing that's going on out there, that women are dressing in ways that, you know, appropriate or not, whatever. People do what they're going to do, you know, so, but it's you being in a position to always make a choice of how you're going to behave, right? So, yeah, cool.
Yeah. You'd be in danger in Portland right now with this guy's approach with the naked bike riders, wouldn't you?
Right? Yeah, the naked bike ride. Holy cow. But, you know, some of those people, I don't necessarily want to be gazing at them too long.
Yeah.
Sorry, no offense, naked bike riders. You go, you do your thing, you know. It's all just a joke to me, all this adversarial crap that's going on. I just wish it would all end and we could do one thing: take care of the earth. Take care of the earth, take care of each other, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, so cheers for listening. Hopefully this is useful. Hopefully it shares a bit of a different perspective. If you'd like to learn more about the Beyond Compulsion method, check the link below. We'll have some links there, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.